Morning.
Are you going to play your starters at all on Thursday?
You know what? We're still working through that. And coordinators have the playtime charts. We're going to put that together, and we'll discuss that later tonight probably.
What are the?
I was expecting that answer.
So was I.
Do you feel like you've seen enough of Carson that you would consider not playing him all preseason?
I mean, he's done some great things out here. Obviously, I try to make it. The way the practices are set up in training camp is hard. As hard as they can be in camp, and not just for him, but for everybody. And we've seen a lot of good things. He's progressing and getting better every single day. The timing and rhythm with his receivers is getting better, and it's still kind of up to me, obviously, to play anybody the rest of the way, but getting a lot of great work in these practices.
The fact that that lane's not available, would that factor into your thinking as to whether to...
No, it doesn't. Again, I thought Mulata coming out last week did some nice things. Obviously, we have the flexibility of Big V could bounce out there, and we got spots at guard, so that's not necessarily the case.
So do you think the reuniting DiFilippo and Nick will be productive for Jacksonville? And if so,
I think there's definitely familiarity there. One of the things that Flip knows exactly how Nick thinks, how he plays, the style, having gone through it, for 7-8 games there at the end of the year. And it is a benefit. It is for a coordinator, a play caller, and a quarterback to be together again, or at least for a long period of time. Has that, they can really, I know this, you can have great conversation, you can bounce ideas off each other, and you end up thinking alike, so it's a positive.
Doug, what happened with Dillard and Barnett yesterday?
Oh, I just think it was just a combination of guys working extremely hard and making each other better. That's one of the things that happens during camp, as you guys know. I mean, get these warm days, and guys are wanting to get better, and it was just aggressive, and it's really good to see. I mean, it's good to see that eagerness on both sides, and but at the end of the day, they shake hands, they make up, and we don't carry it off the field, so we just leave it on the field and leave it at that.
Why do you think Dillard got visibly emotional after practice?
I mean, listen, it's young players. I mean, there's pressure to play. I mean, you think about Carson, his first year, and just pressure to play, and he's doing an outstanding job, and it's a tough sport. Without getting into a ton of detail, I just think that he's so passionate about what he does and how he plays, and he wants to be perfect. He wants to be right, and doesn't want to make mistakes. And I just reassured him after practice he's been doing an excellent job, and playing really well. So there's really nothing to worry about.
How did Nick make you a better coach?
Well, from I just had to go back, and go back to my days when I was the quarterback coach with him here, and going back and how I evaluated Nick as a player coming out of college, and sort of that relationship that we only for a short period of time then. I think kind of watching his career from afar a little bit, it made me go back and just kind of study him as a player. And it wasn't, some of it was play design, play call, what he liked. But I think that's the communication that you have with play caller and quarterback, same that Carson and I have. And that just makes me better as a play caller. It makes me aware of his strengths, which are different than Carson's strengths or Cody's strengths or Clayton's strengths. So all of that makes me a better, not only a better coach, but I think a better play caller.
What's changed for Fletcher Cox in this past week? He had been out there previously.
Yeah, no, he's getting a lot of work done. Still want to keep him, healthy and fresh. We've just kept him inside the last couple of days to get his rehab done.
Do you think there's any risk in not playing Carson? Like, what would be the worst that could happen in terms of, like, is it a rust? Like, what's the downside of not playing Carson?
Well, I mean, downside would be, something happens and he, may say he missed the opening game or something like that, with a tweak here or there. That would be the downside. But I can't listen. You can't put players in bubble wrap either. This is the NFL. It's football. There's going to be contact, and we just got to be smart with all our guys.
Cody got ramped up since the preseason game? More second-team reps. How do you think he's handled it early on?
I think he's handled it well. He's still processing and working through the details of the offense. You know, working with some different guys. Because which takes a little time, but he's handled everything really well. I'm excited for another opportunity again this week, and see his progression.
Doug, tell us if we're wrong here. When you said that Carson's been progressing, some of the practices it seems like he hasn't been as good as he was earlier in camp. Is that just a product of seeing the same defense over and over?
Oh my gosh, it totally. I mean, listen, we're into our kind of third, fourth week, whatever, of training camp here, and when you get to this point, the defense knows the offense, and the offense knows the defense, and it is hard. It's hard. You get frustrated. I know I've been there. You're like, oh man, I want that throw, and you don't get it, and and things just don't come off. But what happens is we get those throws during games. We because we're not game planning our defense. Obviously, we're trying to run our offense. Defense is trying to run the defense. We're still evaluating a lot of players. So, there's going to be days like that. That's just the way camp is.
You said with the inter-squad practices done with the Ravens be perhaps enough for you to evaluate Carson?
Well, I mean, it's still, when you say evaluate him, I mean, what are you talking about? Physically evaluate him?
Or just for
Mentally evaluate him?
Ready for the.
I mean, it'll be another step. It'll be another step in every player's progression. Quite frankly, a lot of our starters, as they prepare for the season opener. But it's just another part of camp that we're going to go through. We're excited. Baltimore coming up here next week. We're looking forward to that. We should have some really good practices, and that's a great way to evaluate. Kind of going back to the question of knowing our offense, knowing our defense. At least now you go against another team that you get to execute your stuff.
Just in general, though, not just Carson, but all the starters, having joint practices this year, does that affect your thought process when you think about not only week 2, but week 3 in the preseason?
I mean, it can affect it a little bit, but again, it does break the routine for players. Again, it's, we've been banging on each other now for several weeks. You finally get to hit, another team, and they get to hit another team, and that's a good thing. You break that monotony of camp a little bit, and so I think it's a positive. I'd love to do more if I could. Something to look at in the future, but it's a good time. Week 2, week 3 of camp like this is a good time to go against another opponent for a couple days and see where our guys are.
The schedule obviously changes after this week. Practices change. What have you learned about your team during training camp here, and how do you feel they are?
I think we're right where we need to be this time of training camp. It's not a perfect or a finished product. Obviously, we're still building and working through some things. I think this week was, I ramped the intensity up a little bit in practice this week, going back to Saturday with the Saturday Sunday padded practices, and all by design. To get our our penciled in starters ready to go for week 1, and I think we're progressing. Again, by no means is it a finished product, but I like where we're at right now.
At this point, what areas would you like to see improve going forward?
Obviously we work a lot of situational football. I mean, today was a little backed up, and then we did some red zone today, and we got to continue to improve. We, third down, we weren't a very good third down team last year on offense or in the red zone. Those are areas that, I've emphasized in training camp. Defensively, the same way. Creating turnovers. You're seeing our defense, get some hands on the ball or whatever, knocking passes down. So those are all things that, we strike or at least strive to do in practice, and we've got to get better to give ourselves a chance.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.
there's so much talk about the tempo of practices, how consistently games better. Can you get a lot of work here and not as much in the preseason, pretty much feel ready to go?
I mean, we feel great out here. You know, these practices are obviously very high intensity. The defense that we have obviously is extremely talented. They present a lot of different looks, and everyone's flying around. So this is as game-like as you can get, minus the hitting. And so I feel like we're getting really good work out here.
Last week you said you trusted Doug's plan, but if you had your choice, try to get out there and play in the preseason game.
I trust Doug's plan. I'll stick with that. You know, he's got a reason for what he's doing, and whenever it is, you know, I'm more than ready. You know, to get out there to play. But I'm good really either way. And like I said, I think out here we're getting so much good work that, you know, at the end of the day, I think he's kind of deciding based off of that stuff.
When you see Nate go down, does it put the decision in perspective though for you?
I guess I don't really think of it in that. I see Nate go down, and I just feel bad for him. You know, I know for him, this is a big preseason to kind of show what he can do a little bit, and I also know what it's like to go through injuries. So, you know, I think we're fortunate that it's only a couple weeks and everything, but you know, my heart always breaks when I see guys go through injuries. So, but he's kept a really good positive attitude with it, and he'll be back soon enough.
It seems like the bulk of your work this training camp has been in the pocket, not as much rolling outside. Has that been the plan? Has that been the concerted effort?
I don't think so. I think part of that is just kind of what our defense does, you know, the way our defense plays, and I don't think you'll see anything drastically different from that side of things. This year we always like to move the pocket. We always like to get out, run some nakeds, play actions, those things. So I guess I haven't really thought about that.
Are you tired of facing the same defense every day?
You do. You do. But at the same time, they do so many different things, and they present a really tough look every day. So you get tired. Obviously, tensions run high at times. You know, things happen, but you're at the same time excited to face some other defenses soon.
Do you feel like it's affected your performance the last week, knowing you and you seeing the same stuff over and over?
I don't think so because, again, I think we do enough offensively to mix it up, and so do they on defense, and they're always working on new things. So I think we're getting really good work against our defense, seeing a variety of coverages and looks, and I think we're getting better because of it.
Do you think there's any downside to not playing in the preseason? Is there any downside to not playing in the preseason?
I don't think so. You know, I feel good either way. You know, either way, whatever coach feels best. And like I said, I'll be ready come week one, whether I get reps, you know, multiple times in preseason or none at all, whatever coach decides. I'm extremely confident in this offense and myself, and I think I like where we're at.
What would it be like seeing Nick on Thursday night? I mean, whether you guys play or not.
Yeah.
Just seeing him.
I'm excited to see him. You know, it's been a while. You know, we still keep in touch here and there, but I'm just excited to see him. He's a great friend, and wishing him the best down there. So I know for me and Nate as well, spending so much time together, we're both excited to see the guy and catch up.
Do you know if he's playing or not?
What's that?
Can you tell you if he's playing or not?
He wouldn't tell me that.
Do you have a favorite Nick Foles story?
Not really. You know, I always credit Nick for getting me into liking coffee. Nick was always making coffee every morning, and I was never a big coffee guy, and then I tried the stuff he makes. So I credit Nick for getting me into coffee a little bit.
Have you talked to him much lately? How's it been for him down there?
Yeah, I mean, when we catch up, kind of the same way I do with other guys across the league, we don't talk a lot of football. You know, we talk a lot about life and how's his family doing, how's his daughter doing, his dog, you know, everything, kind of catch up like that. And so I don't know, football-wise, you know, we don't get into that, but he's doing well, and it's always good to see him hopefully coming up Thursday.
Are you at the stage in your career when you come into camp and, like, maybe say a veteran pitcher in spring training, you're working on a new changeup, or are you do a lot, or you try certain passes? You're like, okay, typically in a game situation, I wouldn't throw this, but here, let's try it.
There's some of that, I guess you could say. You know, a lot of that I'd probably say is more in OTAs, and when you're kind of trying new things. Not necessarily forcing passes, so to speak, but you know, you're trying new routes and new combinations, and coaches are always trying new plays, and I like to bring up ideas too. So, you know, you try a little bit new, but at the same time, you kind of stick with what you know. But yes, there's a little of that going on in OTAs and then in training camp.
Carson, when you talk about preseason and playing in the preseason, and you're okay with either, does that come from your history, the fact that you've missed preseason, you've played in preseason, so you kind of understand what it brings to you?
I wouldn't say it's the history with injuries. I would just say just history of having experience in this league, you know, playing multiple seasons now, having, you know, experienced the rigors of a 16-game season, and every season going on. Like, I'm not real concerned about what preseason brings, so to speak, in the sense of what it can offer me. I think it's good, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessary. So I really trust that coach is going to make those decisions.
Carson, we saw a lot of work in the red zone today. You look at the possibilities between personnel groups and things that are available to you. Is this the most diverse and I guess potentially talented group that you have in that spot?
You could definitely argue that. You could definitely argue. I mean, the lineup that we can put out there in the red zone. Whether it's we can go a couple of different running backs, we can go tight ends, receivers. We have some big bodies that we can utilize down there. I mean, like you said, it can be a very diverse group, and also adding those couple running backs as well. On the ground as well. We can punch it in, and I feel good about the ground game down there. So I feel really confident going forward with the red zone. But as you guys know, it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of timing, and we're still developing that.
What's the best way to describe how Nick possibly influenced you as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think Nick. One of my favorite things about Nick was just his personality. I think it's been documented the way we kind of see the game and the way we kind of approach life. We're very similar, but at the same respects, very different. He's very relaxed and chill, and I'm very kind of more type A. And so I think we worked really well together to kind of see both sides of it and how that can really be positive to kind of just take a step back and be a little more relaxed about things. And just to see his approach to the game and how it was a little different than mine, but to find a happy medium, I think I definitely saw some good things in seeing how he prepared.
What's been your impression of Clayton Thorson, and especially how he responds when he's struggling? I know he wasn't happy with how he played on Thursday, but how do you see him responding to that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I love Clayton. Awesome guy, and I like what he's done through OTAs and training camp and everything. And the game aside, I think he's done some really good things, and he brings talent at that position. So I mean, he's learning well, and I'm looking forward to seeing him out there on Thursday and keep growing as quarterback.
Do you feel like you've gotten the best look this summer from your 3 training camps, I guess, that you from the secondary and the defense?
Boy, that's a good question. I think every year, obviously, they present some good things. Coach Schwartz, for one, always does a lot of good things on that side of the ball. The talent that the secondary has over there with multiple safeties now, and getting now Darby back and the DBs that we have. It's hard to say which one's been the most talented, but they're definitely mixing it up probably more than we've seen in the past. And so we've definitely got some really good work against them.
Does it bother you mentioned your injury history. Does it bother you at all to have it framed that way, in that they were 4 totally different sorts of random injuries as opposed to a chronic thing that keeps happening over and over again? There seems to be kind of an implication that you're brittle or something like that.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I mean, you play a couple seasons and you have a couple injuries. I get what's happening. Unfortunately, I've ended the last 2 years on the bench, so there's only so much I can do to talk about it. And I just got to be about it. I'm going to set myself up as best as I can to stay healthy, to play the whole season and get out there every week. But again, it's football and things happen. So everyone has their own opinions, and at the end of the day, I'm not really worried about it.
As a type A guy, does that perception bother you at all? Do you take it to heart?
I don't think so. I think first and foremost with my faith and just going through it, I've really had to kind of sit down and realize, okay, there's a lot more to this game and reasons why I'm playing. And so for me, obviously I want to be out there, and that's always something, but it keeps me in perspective that there's a bigger picture and trusting in the Lord through that. So I've really had to come to grips with really not really caring what other people's opinions are on the matter, and just doing the best I can.
Do you feel different 3 weeks into camp than other years because of what you did this offseason?
Maybe a little bit. I think obviously just the training that I've done, the nutrition that I've really focused on, different things. I definitely feel better. I feel stronger. I feel more explosive. But at the same time, it's been a while since I felt this way due to the knee and everything. So I do feel good where I'm at.
Along those lines, do you kind of feel like you're getting more work in practice this year, I guess, as opposed, 2 years ago, probably the best comparison?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably very similar to 2 years ago. Obviously, last year, that kind of spoke for itself. But yeah, I feel like we're getting good work, plenty of work, and I like where we're at.
Do you have a sport you miss the most?
What's that?
Do you miss the food that you miss the most that you now no longer eat?
Why would you do this to me? I mean, pizza is one of the biggest, trying to avoid pizza. Everyone, that's the thing you do when you hang out with the guys, you order pizza, that stuff. So trying to find pizza substitutes has not quite been as successful as I would have hoped.
Coffee's allowed in the diet?
Yeah.
Do you get decaf or
Oh, caffeine's good. Caffeine's good when you need it.
Have you had some pizza recently?
Not real pizza. It's been about 6-7 months now, so trying to find different substitutes and everything. But it's been good. I feel good from the new diet.
The guys that are playing Thursday, is there anybody fans should really be not sleep on? If you can tell.
Boy, I don't know. I'm just really excited to see the guys out there again. Really, I've been excited all offseason about the new pieces we've added, and especially those running backs. I'm definitely excited to see them get out there again between Jordan and Miles and some of those other guys. So for me, I'm most excited to watch those guys. Thanks, guys.